13 on number 13? You a superstitious kind of guy, Ryan? Is 13 an unlucky number to you? It's not Friday. It's not that. It's a Wednesday. Cavs go for 13 tonight. Cavs! It is, of course, November 13th. I think those cancel out. You believe in bad juju with 13. Well, two of those cancel out. Cavs will get their 13th victory in a row tonight. You see Philly last night? They're going to have Paul George tonight. They're not going to have Joel Embiid. We know Maxey is out. Should be a nice win for the Wine and Gold tonight, but not so fast. Vegas odds are out on the game that the Cavs will lose first. This is one of the favorites. It's not the favorite, but it's one of them. I don't think it's going to be a problem for the Wine and Gold tonight, so we got plenty of Cavs to talk about tonight. Feeling a little lucky. 13-leg parlay on the 13th for the 13th win, Ryan?
Yeah.
13 legs?
Yeah. No.
I want to do a 13-leg parlay for the Cavs tonight.
All right.
We can do small ones. We can do easy layup type of ones. That's a bad pun. I apologize. But we'll do that a little bit later, talking about some Cavs. Ton of Browns to get to. We got Noah Weiskopf waiting in the wings. We'll talk everything Jed Wills with him. 9:30. Noah's, I guess, peer, if you will, at OBR. Jack Duffin at 9:30. I can't wait to talk to Jack. I was reading all through his article this week about the 2025 cap situation for the Browns. Could they realistically cut Deshaun Watson this offseason? We'll get to Jack coming up on that. I've got a mock draft that you're going to want to see for the Browns. I know I like how that mock draft played out. We'll get to that. We got time up. We got the grid, bracket. We got it all for you right here on a Cavs Wednesday on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Happy to have you alongside. You can always follow on Twitter. I'm at Matt Fontana83. I don't say that enough. Ryan is at Ryan Tyler33. Show is at Matt Fontana Show. We're up on YouTube and Instagram under the Big Play flag. Big Play app. Check us out on Twitch as well. Everywhere that you need it, including the great Noah Weiskopf. Follow him on Twitter, X, and Instagram at Browns with Noah from the OBR. Noah, business decision, the word or the phrase of the week out of Berea, with Jed Wills dropping that on Monday. And I just want to lay out, Noah, where I'm at. Good morning. And to say, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. All right. I think he used a phrase, searching for some words, didn't really understand maybe how that was going to be received. He didn't want to play. They benched him. They're going to move on from him. There's no point in cutting him now. I don't know. No, I didn't think it was that big. Just your thoughts on the Jed Wills comments this week and everybody grabbing on it.
I think the wrong choice of words was the best way to put it. Nothing's really going right with that situation, especially now. And that was almost sort of the end punch, right? Like that was the last straw where it's like the fact that he said that the way that everyone took it. And I understand. I don't know if he really knew what business decision really meant.
I agree with him. Yeah.
But, I think it's interesting to think about how, if a Myles Garrett does something similar, can he get away with it, right? So you're kind of thinking like this Browns fan base was already almost upside down on Jedrick Wills. They already sort of knew how they perceived him. And then hearing that, I think sort of just set everyone off. And rightfully so, right? Like he has not been a productive left tackle. So I just don't think it was a series of good events for him being benched, saying that. Just going to have to play out the season. And after this, I don't imagine he's back in Cleveland. But, just sort of a rough way for that to go down.
Absolutely. And I also look at it and I say a positive to take out of it is, that's a clean cut now. Any of that lingering, and maybe that. I need DeJuan Jones to prove over the last 8 games that he is your franchise tackle. Conklin, which we'll talk to Jack coming up about his contract, like he's under contract. They could get out of it, save themselves a little bit, but then more dead cap hits. And I wonder how they would view that of saying, all right, we're going to go into next year. Conklin and DeJuan Jones, your tackles. Maybe Joe Bitonio hangs it up. I'm not ready to quite say that's a lock. You never know. But it's also, it's not bare. It's not like you're sitting there saying, well, we don't have anybody else to play left tackle. Like, you could piece that together again next year. It's just, Noah, it's funny as this season has gone on of lightning rods and this and that. This offensive line just keeps coming up. The Callahan stuff keeps coming up. The injuries keep coming up. And then this just seems to be the cherry on top of that sundae on what's been a bad year for the offensive line.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to think about Jack Conklin because to me, or at least to a lot of fans, it feels like he's much older than he is. He turned 30 in August, so he was 29 throughout the offseason, and now in his age 30 season. So it does feel like he's been in the league for a lot longer than he really has. He's not one of those guys where you have to move on from because of age. He's in a situation where, especially on the offensive line, like you see Joel and him playing through his way, and I don't think he's, especially Jack, is like at a point where he can't, be efficient anymore. I think that he's still at a point where he can be productive. He can be a productive tackle, especially on the right side. So they, in this franchise, values offensive linemen so much. So it would be hard for me to imagine they would get rid of a guy with the experience of being an all-pro, of being a really top offensive lineman in the league for a set of years. So it's really just been the injury bug that's been getting him. And he really hasn't been able to stay on the field consistently. But, now he's back out there, and hopefully for the rest of this year, he stays healthy and proves to the franchise and himself that he's a guy that they should continue to rely on.
Check out Noah Weisskopf, Browns Noah, Twitter, Instagram from the OBR. The other news this week, not shocking, Jameis Winston going to be the starter moving forward. And I think, again, for now, that's fine. And Kevin left that door open for maybe some DTR type stuff. And I would imagine, Noah, that eventually they do turn to DTR. How many more games would you give Jameis Winston as the starting quarterback for the Browns this season?
I think it's totally dependent on how he performs. If he can keep them around 500 football, I think their goal obviously is to win games. And if he can keep them around 500 football, then I think that he starts for a big chunk of the rest of the season. I think he has something to prove to this franchise as well. Could he be the bridge quarterback? Could they re-sign him after the season and keep him around next year? I think that's still a question, and they want answered. And so if he can play 500 football, I think that there's a really good chance they keep him around. Now, if things start to go down quick, where they're losing, 3 of their next 4 or 4 of their next 5, then I think you can turn it over to DTR. But to me, at least, you pretty much know what you have in DTR. And I think going into the season, maybe people were like, we still are not really sure what he can give. You play him for a game or two, and then, now to me, at least, I think I know what you have in DTR. So we'll see if the Browns feel that way. But I do think that just overall playing younger guys will be much more beneficial. And I do think that there's a chance where you get to the final 4 or 5 games and they end up throwing DTR out there to get him more reps, to get him more experience. But I think Jameis has something to prove, and it's actually going to be really interesting to see how many games he's able to lead this Browns team to win.
I don't want to say, Noah, that Jameis could dictate the offseason, because that's crazy. That's not like where I think the Browns are at, but they know they need a quarterback. They're going to be limited in the options that they have. I'm one of interest of bringing Jameis back, but that's, again, another salary you got to put on the books. I don't think he's coming back for just $8 million again. It's going to be more. And if you view him as that bridge, or if you view him truly as we are going to start him for the season, all of that does, for me, Noah, package up in these 8 games or 5 games or 6 games, however many plays, where I don't think that's getting enough attention of, like, if he can show I can be the guy in this offense with the interceptions, with all of that. I know he's a career backup at this point, but, like, I think that could really, again, not frame what the Browns are going to do this offseason, but no, I think it could have some influence on what they want to do from the quarterback situation moving on. So I think it's pivotal and really important to see how well Jameis plays here on out.
Yeah, and especially, with Jameis, that's your backup. You brought him here this offseason to be your number 2 guy. And to me, if you just elect to play Dorian for the rest of the year, then it's almost sending a message to this locker room saying, like, we're just going to kind of punt on this season. We are going to see what we got with the younger guys. We're going to see what happens. And I think that there's a fine line between just totally punting and playing all young guys versus letting young guys get work while also still competing. That's what you're seeing with Cedric Tillman. They move Amari Cooper and they play Cedric Tillman a lot more, and you see what he's doing right now. Then you have Zadarius Smith move on. You see how Isaiah McGuire has been playing really, really well. So I think there's a fine line between playing all the young guys versus getting young guys in the game while still trying to be competitive. Because if you put in Dorian, you're sending a message to the guys like Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, Joel Bitonio, and et cetera. But you're sending that message where, we're just going to kind of punt on the season and have you guys playing. And it's not sending a good message. And they need to win games, not only for these players, but this front office, right? Like, they cannot lose every other game for the rest of the season. That's not really an option for them, because then you're looking at potentially moving on from a 2-win team, moving on from your head coach, potentially your GM. So like everybody involved wants to win games. It's not just, the quarterback.
Well, off of that note, we had the discussion about, do you get to a point where you shut down other guys? Myles Garrett dealing with these feet injuries. Nick Chubb, who's looked good but still on a knee injury. Denzel with the concussions. Any sense that you're getting that is a conversation? Again, they need to win games, but could you see a point, not now, but eventually they decide, like, yeah, some of these guys that we know are a part of our future that are fighting through these injuries? I guess, no, the question is, do you think they can handle that? That's a mark of a stable team, of a team that doesn't have to worry about what's being said to say this is the right thing to do. But I know how that would be perceived by some people. You're right. They still need to win games to try to keep their jobs. But I just wonder if there's a point they say we do need to shut down some of these guys that have been battling injuries all season long.
Potentially later on. I don't think they're, and you said it, but I don't think they're really at that point right now. Just moving away from those guys really would tell everyone exactly how they feel on the season. I think that there's been already some moves telling you how they feel. We mentioned the Zadarius Smith trade and the Amari Cooper trade. They moved on from those guys knowing that there were younger guys waiting in the wings to get snaps. And even Diabate on the defense has been getting some snaps there over Devin Bush. So like still playing those young guys, I think was telling enough. I don't think that right now they're at a point where they're willing to have those conversations with those types of guys, because it's gonna take a lot to keep a Myles Garrett off the field. It's not just gonna be a conversation and saying, we're gonna sit you down, because you can believe that he's gonna want to be out there with his teammates for the rest of the season. That's the kind of guys those people are. So I think it's gonna be a difficult conversation to have, but I don't think they're at that point right now. Potentially, they still lose a lot of games in a row later down the road.
Anything you're watching this week? Noah Weisskopf joining us from the OBR. Injury front coming out of the bye. I know everybody that was on the active roster was at practice on Monday, so it's probably good news. Anything you're really watching as we get ready to go for this game versus the Saints? Again, getting out of the bye as healthy as you can be. I know JOK on IR, things like that, but seems like the health was needed. They always use that week as the self-scout, like see if there's some changes, maybe a little more Dorsey, all that. What's on your mind, Noah, as we get ready to go for the Saints on Sunday?
Well, honestly, I'm looking to see how Jameis performs in a revenge game? Is that what we're going to put this as?
He's got a lot of teams he can do revenge games.
He's coming back, right? He wants to beat the Saints, and everyone on this roster will want to fight for him and get him a win, get him the game ball. I'm looking for them to win. I want to see if they're able to pull out a win led by Jameis Winston. I want to see Cedric Tillman continue to get his reps and continue to make the most of his opportunities. But I'm looking at this as a winnable game for Cleveland. I think that coming off of bye, especially, you're relatively healthy right now, and to sort of go out there and fight and see what you can do. This is a very, very winnable game against the Saints team that has really underperformed this season. It almost feels like their interim coach, I don't know what he was doing after the game. I don't know if you saw those comments, but he was talking about, I think, clogging a toilet after the game. So we'll see if, their sort of energy, it feels like when you have an interim coach, you have that energy for a game and you want to go out there and win that game for your new coach, and then it sort of settles down. So we'll see if this is their settle down moment and the Browns are able to get the best of them. But it's a very winnable game. When you look at the schedule, you can't really point to many more that are like, that's a really winnable game, but this is one of them. Of course, it's the NFL and anyone can win any given day, but I think this is a game that they can win, and I'm intrigued to see how Jameis performs, especially his first game starting, he lights it up. Second game starting, quite the opposite. So we'll see here how the third game goes.
Great stuff. We'll leave you on this one, Noah. Do you have any superstitions? We're going to talk about this a little later in the show. So today is obviously the 13th. The Cavs go for their 13th win tonight. Any don't walk under a ladder, break a mirror, any superstition that you really subscribe to?
No, I don't think so, but they need a 13th win tonight. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I think they got it. It should be all good. Appreciate you as always. Noah Weisskopf, OBR. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram, Browns with Noah. We'll talk to you next week after 13, 14, and maybe even 15. No, we'll talk to you next week, all right?
Yep, see you then.
There he goes. Noah Weisskopf with the OBR. We'll get into that later with Ryan, too. I can't wait. Superstitions. The salt thing, step on your crack, break your mom's back, anything like that? The number 13?
Oh, geez. I don't think I subscribe to any superstitions. I did when I played sports, I would say probably.
Okay.
I usually put on my, I put on my left sock and my left shoe first, always.
Yeah, stuff like that, right? Yeah.
Well, when I
Black
wanted
Cats.
snow days, in school, you were supposed to flush ice cubes down the toilet. And I think you
What?
sleep with a spoon under your pillow.
Really?
Yeah.
Kids these days don't know about waking up and waiting for that ticker to go across the bottom to see if you got that
Facts,
snow.
facts.
Everybody now just gets
I was the last
text.
generation of that. I think.
Everybody, you don't even remember. Do you remember the TV Guide channel?
Yeah.
You wanted to see what was on. Oh, I missed it. You got to wait 5 minutes for it to come back around. Kids these days don't know. Everybody's got text. Hey, no school today. You had to wake up like it was the NFL draft waiting for the ticker on the bottom. Here's examples of superstitions. Black cats, bad luck in threes. Now, I do believe that celebrities die in threes. I think that. Knock on wood. I think we all do that. Walking under a ladder, breaking a mirror.
Yeah, I always knock on wood.
Opening an umbrella inside. Friday the 13th. Do you have a good luck charm? They bring this up. Like a rabbit's foot. There's people that'll go play cards and they put something on the table as good luck. Lucky pennies, spilled salt. You spilled the salt. Spilling the salt's very bad luck. We're driving across the country. Last thing we need is bad luck. Quick, throw some over your right shoulder. Shoes on a table is a superstition, apparently. Horseshoes. Here's 18 superstitions from around the world. Knocking on wood. Okay.
Good song, by the way. Superstitious.
Superstitious, great. So that's the first thing. It's Stevie Wonder song. It's the first one that comes up. Throwing salt over your shoulder. Walking under a ladder. Broken mirror. Step on a crack, break your mother's back. Lucky pennies. The lucky horseshoe. As with pennies, metal is seen as being both valuable and magical. Iron in particular was thought by early Europeans as something capable of warding off evil spirits.
Okay.
Friday the 13th, black cats, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I can't cross. Fun fact, I cannot cross my fingers.
Really?
Yeah.
Like either one?
So,
Any of them?
okay.
I
So,
can't really
so
do this
like,
one.
so I can cross them if I
You got to twist
I
them
have to
do
take
it.
my other hand to
Like
do
you
it.
can't just do it.
No,
like that.
my hand. I've like that. This is as far as I
Really?
Can, this is as far as I can go.
Well, then that would not
So,
be.
so when I took sign language in college this semester, I had to
Oh.
tell my teacher I'm physically incapable because that's whatever letter that is. Like when we would take
I
videos,
took 2 years of it.
I had to
remember
tell
a
her I
thing.
can quite literally not cross my fingers.
Sweeping feet. South Americans believe if your feet are swept over by a broom, you'll remain single for the rest of your life.
Oh God, is that what I did?
What is that?
Is that what I did?
I don't know.
Is that what I can blame?
You
it
got
on?
plenty of time. You got plenty of time. Yeah, they're all the same. The rake, the ladder, black cat, rabbit's foot. Bad luck comes in threes. Oh, 666. I don't want to say the last one. You never know. I guess we are. Wishbone.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. That's always a
Wishbone's
big
one.
one. And Friday the 13th. People that are scared of Friday the 13th. You ready for this? Are Frigga triskatophobics.
I don't think that's how you say it.
I'm sure it's not. Frigga triskatophobics. That is the fear of Friday the 13th. That's it. That is the fear that comes back from the late 1800s. So, all right, Cavs get it done. 13 tonight. We're not down with the Browns conversation, though, because we got Jack Duffin coming up in just about 10 minutes. Talk everything Cap. A lot of things to react to from Noah, but we got to talk a little wine and gold tonight as well. They go for 13 in a row. Who's playing for the 76ers tonight?
No idea.
I know. So, no way Embiid, who made his debut last night, and he was bad anyway. They don't play Paul George in back-to-backs, and Tyrese Maxey is out.
Correct.
Cavs, didn't look at it. Pull it up.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm going to say they're 10-point favorites tonight.
Very close. 9.5.
9.5. I would say 10. I would say 10. I really want to do a 13-leg parlay tonight. And we'll make it easy. Like, I'll give me 10 points for this. The other interesting thing is we got no update on Jared Allen for tonight.
Correct.
Right?
Still,
I'm
it's still a
assuming-
game time decision. Him and Sam Merrill both.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's not going to play. But, this could be that trip-up game. So I talked about the odds, right? So in Vegas, you can go bet on the game that the Cavs will lose first.
Right.
The favorite is actually next Tuesday against the Celtics. The second best, that was like plus 190. Tonight is like plus 275. They don't think we're going to lose to the Bulls. Do we have a Pistons game mixed in there for some reason? I saw that. Am I misremembering that? Hang on, Cavs schedule here. I remember that tonight was the second favorite. But I don't know how. I really don't see a way on how they lose the 70. I don't know if they'll cover. Like, they've been close, but I'll tell you this, man. After a couple of close games, are they not due for that, like, blowout type game tonight?
Yeah.
So we got the 76ers, Bulls, Hornets.
That should be Charlotte, yeah. That blowout game.
Hornets, but I'm again, I think tonight might be like a nice, comfortable, like 15-point win or something like that.
It should be, but I'll never, ever get over I don't know if it just happens to be the games that I watch. Obviously, I try to watch all of them.
So
but
so you are superstitious.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying Philadelphia always plays Cleveland well. I swear, always.
I mean,
every game I watch.
No, and you don't want to discredit them because, like, obviously they still have some guys on that team that are going to play tonight. But there's no way Embiid plays, right? They already ruled out that he's not playing back-to-backs. Plus, again, they played last night. They lost to the Knicks, and they look bad doing that.
They look garbage.
They're really not a good basketball team. So last night you had 29 from Paul George, which, again, it sounds like he's not going to play tonight. Embiid was 2 of 11 from the floor. The only guys that you're going to see tonight, Kyle Lowry, who does always seem to stick at us too, Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin, who didn't he just get a contract this offseason or something? And then they're bench guys.
I'll be honest, I didn't know Kyle Lowry was still in the league.
Yeah. Andre Drummond. You get an Andre Drummond revenge game tonight for the Cavs.
Andre Drummond is on the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, he's on the 76ers. He had 5 points last night.
Wow.
5 points, Andre Drummond. That's it.
Do you know that picture of him with Jeanette McCurdy?
Didn't they date? Weren't they dating?
I think so.
What, just because he's like 7 feet tall and she's really small? Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know. Hey, man. Being that tall. And the one that always gets me, do you know, you watch Game of Thrones, right?
Of course.
You know the mountain?
Yes.
After Julius Bjornsson? You ever see a picture of him with his wife? He is like 6'9", 400 pounds because he's a power lifter. His wife's like 5'2", buck 05.
I hate the mountain.
What? Why?
He's an ass.
In the
didn't
show?
watch the show?
No, I don't watch the show. I have no idea.
I absolutely hate him.
Oh, he's terrible. Yeah. Seems like a nice guy in real life, but talk about height differential there with Andre Drummond. So, yeah, you get an Andre Drummond revenge game tonight because I'm assuming he's going to have to play a lot of minutes. I don't think there's any way the Cavs lose tonight. I really don't. Unless, like, here's the other side that I was thinking about that. They seem to be focused. You know, we talked about that with Sam Amico yesterday. The fact that they're bringing the streak up, back to superstitions, you don't talk about the no-hitter, you don't talk about the streak. I like that the Cavs have that mindset. We want to keep this going. Darius Garland has said that. The guys at this point know the streak that they're on. Good. You want to keep that motivation going. And especially how exciting that would be, not to look too far ahead, but to enter that Celtics game undefeated, to have the momentum rolling, like, I like it. I like that the Cavs are talking about the streak and want to keep going, especially this early in the season. The detractors would say you don't want that to overtake your play, or you don't want that to dictate, but it's like, you want to win. Just go win. You're a fifth of the way to 60 wins. You're a quarter of the way to, well, not quite. Well, no, actually, yeah, you're a quarter of the way to your over-under in the season already. Keep it going. Stretch that gap, too, not to the Celtics, but to everybody else. What? Look at the East. Is it still this morning? We are the only 2 teams in the East above 500.
Yeah, the East is buns.
The East is not good. And there's plenty of times for other teams to figure some stuff out, but, like, get after it now. So that's where, like, tonight, there you go. The only way the Cavs lose tonight is if they don't show up. That's it. If they show up, they play the type of game that I expect them to play, this shouldn't even be a question. Whether they cover or not, which, again, I'm feeling the cover. I think it's a big Evan Mobley game, too, by the way, tonight. If Allen's really going to be out, you're going to need him more on the defensive side, I guess. But they don't have any forwards that you would look at and be really worried. They might have to start Andre Drummond tonight because you're not going to have Embiid. I should have looked that up to see who's been starting for them. Like, you should be fine. Shouldn't be a question for tonight, so it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it. All right, I'm really excited to talk to Jack in a minute. Jack Duffin of the OBR, he had so many great articles this week about the 2025 cap situation, some of the decisions, and yes, inevitably, it all comes back to Deshaun Watson. We'll get to Jack in just a second, but want to tell you about our friends at Fairway Ford. They got the deals going on right now. Expedition sale, Bronco sale, F-150s. They got it all cooking for you right now at Fairway Ford. I was talking to Brian from Fairway this week, and he goes, Matt, the one thing about their dealership, they want to be able to make the deal for you. They want to make deals. They want to sell cars. And it frankly comes back to they have so much inventory. You know, not to get too into the behind-the-scenes stuff, he goes, we have so many other dealerships that are offering us cars. Ford calling us saying, we got this lot of cars. And they go, we'll take them. We want them all. Because when you show up and you're looking for something very specific, number one, they've got all the options there for it. But number two, they're willing to make the deals. They are willing to get the money off for you because they want to keep churning. You hear that and you're like, oh, that's a negative thing. They're just trying to take advantage of me. No, they're dealing in volume. They are able to make deals. Brian told me, he goes, Matt, I made some bad deals, but that's good for you, the consumer, because they want to move their product. They have the great Ford product. New, pre-owned, the sales are going on. Look at those beautiful F-150s up there. And they're family-owned. Half of their sales staff has been there at least 15 years. Half of their sales staff there 15 years or more. They got people driving in from out of state to get these vehicles, and they're making the short drive there to Canfield because it's going to save you thousands. It really will. The product is great. The salespeople are amazing. The Fairway Ford brand is where you want to go. Trust me, you go there, you go to their website, you start with a chat there. They're going to take care of you. At the end of the day, what are you looking for? A great vehicle for a great price with a great interest rate. All three of those things come at Fairway Ford. It's that simple. Get that new ride for the winter. Go check them out. FairwayFordOhio.com. It's our friends at Fairway Ford Ohio. Check them out. Tell them we sent you. Really appreciate having them here on Big Play. I really appreciate this next guy. He's Jack Duffin of the OBR. Let's jump into the cap. Jack, we really appreciate your time, man. How you been? How are things?
Oh, doing well. It's been a busy married, honeymoon and everything else. But hey, we roll with it.
Welcome to the club, buddy. That's how it goes. Jack Duffin, OBR, capologist. Jack, I loved your articles this week because you just laid it out on where the Browns stand in 2025. So we ran through this on Monday, but I want to give you the floor here. You ran through the different things. Number one, contracts already guaranteed, or at least guys that are on the roster. The dead cap, which we got to talk about, but you got to allot for draft pick money. Just overall, Jack, what is the Browns' situation for the 2025 cap as it stands today?
They're in a really, really good spot. Nothing to worry about is the honest answer. And the fun thing I do with these, because a lot of my focus is around cash, how they're spending and the future and everything there, is I had no clue when I started writing this article what the number I'd end up at the end was going to be. Zero. My gut said, hey, they're going to be in a good spot, but it was like, let's go and prove it, because everyone wants to write, they're screwed, everything's gone wrong, they can't do anything because of the Deshaun Watson contract. And it went, let's see what the facts actually say. And the end of the article basically just says they're fine. There is plenty of money there for them to go be aggressive in free agency, to extend guys like Myles Garrett if they want David Njoku, Teller. So no, there is zero reason to panic.
When you talk about all the money, the dead cap, so they still obviously have the Amari Cooper. They've got Zadarius Smith. Again, we'll talk about Watson in a second. But, Jack, just to explain to everybody what that dead cap is in relation to the deals that they've done with the restructures.
Yeah, so I'd say a good real-life analogy for dead cap is if you paid for a holiday, or you went on holiday and then you have to pay the bill when you get back, or you buy a sofa and then a year down the line you pay the balance off of the sofa. Just because you're paying for it after you've got it doesn't mean that you had to pay for it twice. And it's one that what they're doing is they're pushing that future bill out and going, hey, we'll have it interest free and we'll pay it in 2-3 years time, because what we're going to earn as the salary cap goes up. And if yours and mine's salary went up to 8% every year like clockwork for the rest of our lives, and we knew that was going to be the case, we'd spend probably more than we do now, because we're like, hey, I'll stick that onto an interest-free loan. I'll pay that in a year's time. I'll pay that in 2 years' time. And what they're doing is they're spending $50 million more than league average. That's because they're able to spend all this cash and they'll deal with it down the line. They know these bills are coming. They're not of shock. They're not a bad thing. And it's just a way of cap management and how they're going to keep aggressively spending more than everyone else. And I expect them to spend more than everyone else next year. And they will still have I did a Tuesday article which looked at like all the moves that I thought they'd make. They've still got like 25 million to roll into next year. They're fine.
Jack Duffin joining us, OBR. You can follow him on Twitter at Jack Duffin for all the cap work. I thought your penalty tweet today was really interesting too about Stefanski versus Dorsey. We'll get to that as well. But the biggest question, Jack, is this. Deshaun Watson. I know you and I are of the same mindset. I think he's going to be here next year. Just from a financial standpoint, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if it really came to they just wanted to get rid of him and they wanted to post June 1 cut him this offseason, Jack, is that possible at all that the Browns could cut Deshaun Watson this offseason and be able to survive that cap hit?
They could post June 1st cut him this offseason, but they would literally be shooting themselves in the foot and going, we don't want to compete for the next probably 2 years. It would take 2 years out of where they could compete just for the sake of getting him off the roster. Whereas if you just allow him to be, hey, the Texans made him scout team safety when they had the issues with him before. If they just do that, they can be competitive for all 3 years. And it really comes down to the question of, do you want to be competitive 3 years, or do you want to just blow the roster up, throw 2 years in the trash and sit and cry in the corner? Because quite frankly, I can't think of anyone in a logical mind that goes, yeah, I don't want a good Cleveland Browns team for the next 2 years. Let's just sit and cry in the corner. Let's compete. There's no reason why you can't bring someone in. Look, you've got the 49ers, perfect example. They spent 3 first-round picks on a quarterback. It didn't work out. What did? They picked someone late in the draft. Brock Purdy's not great. Brock Purdy's just okay, league average quarterback. And they're competing in the playoffs. There is zero reason the Browns can't be competing in the playoffs in 2025, 2026, and 2027.
With the Watson, because I tried to run through, and again, I'm of the mindset of you, I think he's going to be here. You got to swallow that money and move on. But I was also sitting there trying to add the numbers up of, let's say they took that cap hit on. And Jack, I just simply was like, okay, they would have to get rid of this player. They would have to get rid of that player. They can't pay that guy. Would that have to be the situation, though? Like, if they did it, they would eventually have to move on from some guys, right? Like, even guys that are under contract and not be able to re-sign them, correct? It's not as simple as, like, we would take it and just not be able to spend anymore. They'd have to shed more salary, too, right?
Yeah, you'd be clearing guys off like, hey, say Batonio retires, we're going to replace him with a minimum price draft pick. And it's like, you probably wouldn't need to cut guys, but anyone departing the end of their deals, you're replacing them with draft picks. And it's like, that's not the way you want to be. When you've got all this money Jimmy's willing to spend, go out and spend it. Why not?
When you think about, I want to ask you specifically about Jack Conklin, because obviously the line situation has been a big one all season. And I looked at it, tell me if I'm wrong, he's under contract. They could cut him for cap savings next year, but still have a dead cap hit. Just thoughts on Conklin's future. Do you think he's back with the Browns next year?
Yeah, so he's due to be paid $15 million next year. And that's kind of the key number. Start with the cash of, is he worth $15 million next year? And I think unless he's perfectly healthy through the rest of the season, I think the answer is no. And then it comes down to, it's probably not. Obviously, cutting a player has to be an option if they're going to take a pay cut, because you can't go, hey, would you take a pay cut? No, I'm not going to take a pay cut. Okay, we'll keep you on 15 million. It's got to be force them into a pay cut or you keep them. And I think there's potentially a deal that could be done where they say, hey, we're going to pay you 8 million of this guaranteed, and then you can earn 6. You might even be able to all of it back if you hit these thresholds. Hey, if you're all pro, you get the last mil. If you're Pro Bowl, you get another mil. If you play 80% of the snaps, we'll give you 5 mil that we've taken off you. And it's that kind of deal they can come to. The issue's going to probably be if you're going into next season with Deshaun Jones on the left, Jack Conklin on the right, you've got 2 players that are naturally going to have injury questions around them. Just because of Deshaun Jones' size, there's always going to be a concern that can he play 17 games in the season, plus potentially playoffs. So you're going to have to invest in a swing. And it's that balancing act. But I think there's a realistic route that he's back. I feel more confident in him than Pochich as an instance.
Jack Duffin, OBR, great stuff on Twitter, as always, at Jack Duffin. This time of the year, Jack, I always feel like we get the extensions. You know, we got the Teller one about this time. We get the Batonio one. And I'm not saying that the Browns are in necessarily that situation right now. There's a lot of questions. Like, I really do think anybody that you would want here is signed up for the most part. I guess I'll just open it up to that. You, Jack, anybody you're seeing as a potential extension, even if it's one to play a little cap game to save some money in the future. I don't know, Jack. I just don't know if I see anybody that's going to get that mid-season extension the Browns have done over the last couple of years.
I think we're probably about 4 weeks away. I'd say mid to end December is probably the most realistic time that happens. Top of that list would be Nick Chubb. I think that's a perfect candidate where they could go, actually, he's heading towards free agency. Let's tie it up and get it done now. The other options were sort of Cooper, but that's obviously gone now. Wills, I think that's gone. I'm not really looking at anyone else and going, they're prime candidates. Extensions, you've kind of got Garrett and Njoku and Teller, but that's probably going to be a June, July thing rather than a December move.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. You know, you mentioned Nick Chubb. I did want to ask about him as well because I don't want to see him go anywhere else. And they do have the time to make sure that he comes back and make sure that he looks like the same guy. It's been a slow grind, but Jack, I'm just excited he's on the field. And I see plays, individual plays, where I'm like, okay, that's close. He's getting there. And that's the same thing. I hope they can sign him to some sort of deal and be able to keep him. Right, Jack? I don't want to see him go anywhere else, frankly.
The Browns are probably more willing to pay Nick Chubb than any other team, just because there's a sentimental reason as well as a footballing reason to do that. So I expect him to be here. It's kind of the question is, well, what role is he going to take? Is it his lead of a running back by committee, or is he just a committee running back? And that's kind of the answer that we need to work out for the rest of the season. And then I expect a deal to get done. At the end of the day, if the Browns don't want to do a deal, it's probably the stage where you question, is he really going to come back or do anything? And that would be a real shame. And hopefully we don't get there and the rest of the season can prove that's not the case. But if the Browns don't want to pay him, something's wrong. And Amari Cooper is a perfect example of this. I would have happily paid Amari Cooper in the offseason. We've had enough years of good production. I was like, hey, I don't mind extending him, give him 25 mil, slight pay rise. But Andrew Berry held firm, didn't want to pay him. We've not seen much out of Amari Cooper since. If we get to the end of the year and he's not performing, lots of people are really, really unhappy. Andrew Berry didn't open the checkbook in the offseason and pay Amari Cooper. Sometimes you just got to hold firm and go, we don't think this player is going to continue playing at this level, because you don't pay guys for what they've done in the past. There is zero reason to pay Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, anyone else for what they've done in the past. You've got to be brutal and you've got to ask, what are they going to do for us in the next 1 to 2 years? Because if that's not the answer, and Bill Belichick used to get slaughtered by this for Patriots fans, media writers going, hey, why is he getting rid of this great player? And then they do nothing for the next 2 years. And it's like, oh, fair enough, Bill knew. And sometimes you just got to don't do what the fans want, do what the team needs.
It's so funny you bring that up, Jack. We had this conversation exactly yesterday. And I said, baseball gets you paid for what you've already done. Basketball gets you paid for what you have done in the past. Football gets you paid for what they think you're going to do and what your projections are. And you're so right on Belichick. I've had a lot of people around me say, Bill's got this sixth sense. He knows a guy 1 year before he's done, and he just gets rid of him and moves on. It's great. I mean, I agree 100% with what you're saying. It's funny you bring it up because we just had that conversation yesterday. And I think a little of that, you know, all right, I'm a little bit about Jed Wills. All right, Jack, because it's easy to sit here and say, why did they pick up that fifth-year option? Like, what a mistake that has to be. And I said at the time, you could see guys that there was a group of guys that were going to be better than Jed Wills, but there's also a group of guys that were going to be worse than Jed Wills. And he was somewhere right in the middle. And they paid that fifth-year option on a projection that they thought he was going to be that average left tackle. Now, that's blown up in their face. It's happened before. You sit here, you're saddling that. At least we're off that from this year moving on. But that's something that we all have to keep in mind as they're signing guys, as they're giving the money out. It is what they expect out of those players moving forward, not what they've done in the past.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's been unfortunate for Jed is he never got the chance to play with a Flacco, to play really with Winston. He's only got the last 2 years of the Watson experiment where he holds onto the ball half a second longer. Half a second doesn't seem like a long amount of time, but that's 20% extra than you need to hold on to the ball if you've got Jameis Winston behind you. And that has a factor where Bitonio didn't look good with Watson behind him. And if Bitonio doesn't look good with Watson behind him, what hope has Jed Wills got? This is a Hall of Fame left guard. Jed Wills is a league average left tackle. So I think that that's a fair argument that we've not seen it. And it wouldn't surprise me if probably law of averages, one of these two tackles is going to go down before the end of the season.
Right.
Jed Wills might step in and suddenly, Jed Wills after getting benched has turned around and been a much better player. Or is it just Jed Wills only has to block for 20% less than he needed previously? So I'm intrigued if he does get a shot. And I think there was sense to keeping him around. At the end of the day, if you've got two tackles in Jones and Conklin that have injury concerns, you've got to prepare for 3 tackles. In all honesty, you probably need to prepare for 4. But it's a tough position to be in. And hopefully they can find some tackles and offensive linemen of the future that there's a bit better durability, because you don't want to destroy that chemistry of a line.
To the Browns quarterback situation, Jack Duffin joining us from the OBR. Not Watson related, but just Jack, Winston, what do you think he would command coming back? And are you getting a sense of, like, I was reading this morning about Sam Darnold, right? And how he might be available. And I know there's other veteran quarterbacks people have brought up for contracts. Just best guess, because the Browns are going to need a quarterback. Even if they draft one, they bring Watson back, I'm assuming there's going to have to be somebody who plays that bridge role. What do you think that would look like from a contract situation? And do you think Jameis has that early lead on that?
Yeah, I think you're looking at a trio here of Watson's one of the 3. You've got your bridge, who's going to come in and probably start next season. And then you've got your upside young prospect. So I think Winston's got the next 4 games. Let's prove, can you be the bridge next year? If he's good, then he's probably going to be somewhere in the 8 million range. And that's realistic. If he's sort of getting you winning every other game, then it's one that you go, look, we can cope with that. That puts us in contention where we potentially make the playoffs next year. Let's go for it. And the home run swing for me, and I'll keep banging on about his name, is Kirk Cousins. I think he would be a great addition for the team. He's on 27.5 mil next year. So if you trade for him and restructure, a 6.5 mil. He's got no trade clause. You've got a quarterback there that has got a good chemistry with Kevin Stefanski. Some of the best times Kirk Cousins had with this certain head coach. So could we put that back together? And he's probably going to look at the team and go, look, that's a team that there is talent on the roster. I go there, I get to work with Kevin. We can win. And maybe that makes sense. And Michael Penix is someone they've drafted in Atlanta. So he knows he's not there for a long time. They might want to keep him around for one more year, but he knows the answers on the wall after that. So I would like to keep an eye on him. And I think that's a good swing. DTR is probably going to struggle, because they're going to give the first run to Winston here, next 4 games. Let's see if he can do it. DTR needs to come in and prove he can be the bridge, or he just needs to get lucky that they don't draft someone. Because if you're going into next season with Watson, the bridge, DTR, if they draft anyone, it could be in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. DTR's on the way out, unless they roll with 4 quarterbacks, because Watson's like the wasted 53rd roster spot.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. Because again, Jack, Kirk, I'm interested in that. It's just like you said. I saw the number. I'm like, oh man, we can't afford that. But that, like you said, that could be easily restructured, and he could be making the same cap hit that Jameis Winston has, and you could push that on down. So again, I'm not reporting or saying that you're saying Kirk Cousins is viable, but just from a cap signing strategy, Kirk Cousins could be fit here.
Oh, Kirk Cousins is a dream answer, because he can win playoff games. Jameis Winston, you might make the playoffs. And some of these other guys, I'm like, Daniel Jones got floated. I'm like, in all honesty, what's the difference between Daniel Jones and Winston? If Winston's okay, you may as well just keep Winston and not mess around with it all. So I think you've got to swing big and go for Cousins. And maybe like the 3rd round pick we got from Amari Cooper, I would send that for 2 years of quarterback play. I'm going to be pretty happy there. And you manage Watson off the books. I don't know if you want me to touch on how they probably deal with that contract.
No, very much. I'd be really interested on that, yeah.
So I'm expecting them next season, 2025, they're going to restructure him, push that money out. Even if he's not playing, doesn't matter. Push that bill into the future.
Yeah.
And then 2026, first day of the league year in March, they're probably going to restructure him. And then 2nd day of the league year, because I believe they have to be on different days, they'll then post June 1st cut him. And what that'll do cap-wise over the next 3 years is 2025, he's going to be 37 million on the books. Then he's going to be 46 million on the books in 2026. And in 2027, it's 89.5. That seems like a big number. But in all honesty, the cap's going to be, 50, 60, 70, 80 million bigger than it is now. Probably even more than that. It might be even close to 100 mil. And then you're spending zero cash on him in 2027. So it might seem like, hey, you're spending 89.5 million of cap number, but you're spending no cash because the cash is going to get dealt with the next 2 years. So you can go blow 200 mil on players. That's only 40 mil on the cap because you're backloading it. So you can keep pushing that out. And yeah, there's better ways to spend 92 million the next 2 years of cash than Deshaun Watson. That is something that the front office has just got to live with. But you can still go out there and compete and put together a good team. So fingers crossed. Who knows? The wild card is he gets suspended and then they get that 92 million back. But let's leave that as a your dream winning the lottery ticket rather than what's realistically going to happen.
Great stuff, Jack. Always appreciate it, man. Loved your article this week. Go follow him on Twitter at Jack Duffin. We'll talk again real soon. Enjoy the rest of the ride, man. And enjoy, man. We really appreciate it.
Gotta love the Winston roller coaster.
Let's get after it, man. I love it. There he goes, Jack Duffin. Wow. All right. Now, what Jack said there at the end, I thought was super interesting. When I get hooked up on that 89 million, Jack's right. Ryan, that's not like you're cutting a check. It's just that is on the cap. It's like a fake number. It's just you can't spend that amount to go over because you've already paid it out. But he brings up Kirk Cousins. And it's, again, not saying it's going to happen. Ryan, now I have a rooting interest to watch the Falcons go down in flames. Now I'm going to have a rooting interest against the Falcons where they sit there and they go, nope, Kirk's not good enough anymore. Let's move on from it. That's my new number one.
Is Kirko bangs?
That might be it. That might be. And again, the Browns like circled around Cousins before. They're tied in Minnesota with Stefanski. He does have the no trade clause, but how could?
I mean, yeah, in a perfect
work, would it not?
In a perfect world, did the off chance that ever happens, right? Yeah, you get 2 years of that possibly. You still draft your quarterback
you
this year.
You probably still would draft a quarterback, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're doing essentially what you thought the Falcons were going to do with 2-3 years of Kirk. You bridged Michael Penix, and now you have your franchise quarterback who's, groomed to be a superstar on a still team with a ton of talent. Yeah, that would be
Mahomes
the perfect
and
scenario.
Alex Smith. It's Rodgers and Favre. You hope it plays out the way that it did for those two teams. And again, we'll see how Atlanta goes with Penix, but that's realistic. And that's why Jack is so good at that. I look at Cap, I look at Kirk and go, 28 can't afford that. Well, just hit the restructure on that. And again, it's more rolling over, it's more dead cap, but as they're sitting there figuring all this kind of stuff out, you go. Jack, going back to Watson, he laid it out. They could do it. They could do it. It would not be the smart, prudent thing. And the only thing I wonder on that, Ryan, is would the pressure become so great to say we actually are going to shoot ourselves in the foot? You're not supposed to do that.
Nah.
It's not a good idea. But do the Browns just sit there and say, from a PR standpoint, from a culture standpoint, and frankly, we are just sick of this, we are going to do that?
I don't think that. I don't think so. I mean,
but can I paint you a picture?
If they're going to do everything in their power to make it, I see what you're saying, but it makes it's too much football sense to do that.
It's like you've
already destroyed your franchise basically and set it back, 5 years, whatever it ends up being. You're going to do that even further?
I mean, let me just paint this, right? Because I asked Jack, I go, if they did, you would have to shed guys, right? And it would be guys that might be on their way out anyway. Well, let's say you were able to keep the core, okay? Garrett, Ward, couple guys on the O-line. You don't draft a quarterback, because I think that's the thing. If they did cut him this offseason, you're not drafting a quarterback with your first pick. You're going to go lineman. You're going to go corner. You're going to go wide receiver because you need somebody to fill in on these spots. They did it. And what if they went to the Kirk Cousins route and they said, we're going to get him here on the cheap. We'll push his money even further down the road, sign him to a 3-year deal, which would be insane at his age, but maybe that all works out. I'm starting to open that possibility. Again, I still believe that Watson is going to be here. And like Jack said, he's just going to be 200. To your idea, he's going to be here, but they tell him just go home. You are nothing more
safety.
than I like. Remember when Baker was running D-line, scout D-line? What is that, when he was in Carolina or whatever? That probably is your answer. But I just wonder if it gets to the point that they say, you know what? We are just going to deviate from this plan. It's not the right thing. It's not the smart thing to do. But just as a message, just as we're done with this, maybe they do it. I don't know. I still think he's going to be here, but it just kind of opens the window that there would be other options. And like Jack started out with, and that's why I loved having him on, the Browns cap situation is not a bad one. You want to look at the numbers, you want to crunch them and sit there and say, we're screwed. That's actually not factual. It's really not. They have openings. Now, what opening they want to take or what they want to do with it is a lot of different on Andrew Berry. And that, dude, over the draft picks, over the trades, I think maybe even more than the trade and the signing of Deshaun Watson. What Andrew Berry does this offseason will be the most important thing that he does in his career as the Browns general manager. This is the most important offseason for him. What are you going to do with Watson? What are you doing with that draft pick? That's it. We have all of the hell that we have gone through has come to this point. And what they do will turn that direction on where the franchise goes. I don't buy that this is a talentless team. There are good players on this team. You're going to lose some of them. And how you handle it, about how much do you lose, how much do you keep, and what you do with quarterback is going to tell the whole story on where we go. And you're right. We all want the quick fix. And I do, again, subscribe to what Jack is saying. You can just be a quarterback away. You can find either the draft or, again, you go sign a veteran, whether it's Jameis or not. You can do it next year, even with the Watson stuff hanging over your head. It's not all bad. It's not all bad. It's not fun. It's not great. You need to win games, but at least there's paths out of this. And I just wonder if that pressure eventually is going to mount so much that they say, you know what, we are going to do the thing that hurts us. Sometimes you got to do the painful thing. Sometimes you got to make the tough decision. Maybe Andrew Berry will do that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. You want to mock?
Yes, please.
So I go over to SI,
yes.
And I've tried to avoid mock drafts, but Ryan, I love mock drafts. I love them, and especially in the offseason. And I used to have a rule that I wouldn't look at mocks until the draft order was set, right? Because anything can change. But we're at this point. It's time to take a look.
So we'd be drafting fifth?
Fourth.
Wow.
We're fourth. So let's run through SI and Daniel Flick, the Flicker. He's got his mock. You ready? Number 1, Jacksonville.
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter is correct. Jags appear destined for an organizational change. It can be head coach Doug Peterson or Trent Baalke. Regardless who makes this pick, Hunter fits. An elite two-way talent, athleticism, ball skills, hands, and instinct to impact games both at receiver and corner. If Jacksonville has the new regime, Travis Hunter's a good start. Number 2, the New York Giants.
Has to be a quarterback, right?
Correct.
Does Dion let Shador go to New York?
Sounds like you might have a choice. Shador Sanders, the pick.
Oh, you know he's...
Well, then it's like they're asking, like, would you go coach Dallas? Would you go coach the team that Shador goes to? Like, you got to be wary of that stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Shador Sanders is a great player, and he's going to, I think, be a good NFL quarterback. When you get too involved like that, and I know Dion might be coaching in the NFL. I don't know.
The whole thing about that, what's crazy to me, listen, I understand the era you're in where, I mean, you've seen it before, even back then with Manning, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't anything new.
Right.
But what's interesting about it is now they're talking about him not only dictating where Shador plays, but also Travis Hunter. Like, that's where you lose me. That's a little bit ridiculous.
Well, it comes back to the old adage, you actually don't want to be a top 10 pick more often than not because you're going to a bad situation. You'd rather be picked in the 20s and go to the Chiefs or go to the 49ers or go to the Eagles. You're going to a team that's in dysfunction. Now, you view it as you're meant to be part of the turnaround here. And I would say the same thing to Shador or to Travis Hunter, right? More specifically to Travis Hunter, I'm going to say this. You can get out of there eventually. Nobody's going to force you to re-sign a deal. Now, you might be saying, that's 5 years. A quarterback certainly can get ruined by a bad situation. Travis Hunter,
right?
I think you're just going to be good. And you can be like, oh, the defensive system doesn't work. Or I wonder if a team would come and force him to pick one side of the football or not, right? I'm assuming he wouldn't want that. And then it gets dicey about what if they got a franchise tag him? Is he a corner or is he a wide receiver? How do you play that? Is it what he's taking more snaps at? Like, that's all for, again, if he goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, they'll figure all that out. Like, Travis is one I don't quite understand because I think he'll be sought after even 4 years in the league. Shador, okay. The thing that knocks me on Dion, what does he keep saying? I want to make sure he's going to a good situation. What team in the top 5 is in a good situation, Dion? Yeah, they're there for a reason. Now, you can try to view it and say, all right, they're set up for success here. But, like, I saw a great tweet this morning. Didn't everybody say Caleb Williams going to Chicago was a good situation?
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say. And it's very early in their careers, obviously. But Caleb Williams is not playing good football at all. And that Bears team was going into this season, the Bears, the Commanders, and the Broncos. Everybody would have picked the Bears to be the best team there. And they were getting, quote, the best, just generational talent, the best quarterback that's come out of college since Andrew Luck is what people were saying. Now go look at the Commanders and go look at the Broncos. They're in way better spots, and their quarterbacks are playing way better football.
Like, would you say going to the Giants is a good situation? No. I do not believe for a second that Brian Dable's still going to be there next year. Correct. And I guess that, again, maybe it opens that up for Dion. Would you take them as a combo package?
No.
On the whole, I would say no.
No.
Because there's like that dynamic. You got to maybe bench your son. Like, you better make sure you got a lot of players on board with
Hell
that.
no. Hell no. Hell no.
Would you do it? You wouldn't think about it?
I wouldn't even think about it. I'm not having a first-year rookie head coach with that limelight on him, quarterback with my hopeful franchise quarterback being his own son. Absolutely not.
Do you think Dion goes to the NFL eventually?
Oh, 100%.
100%? Yeah. Because the most prime example that I have is Dan Campbell as a guy that played. Now, again, Dan Campbell didn't play to the level of Deion Sanders, right? But, like, you got the experience, you got the pull, and you look and see what he did at Colorado. That's a lot different to get to the NFL, man. And I said the same thing about Jim Harbaugh, where I was like, some of that stuff wears thin. When you're in college, some of that rah-rah bull crap or how you handle your players, that's much different than when you get to the pros. Now, I'll give Jim Harbaugh credit. It seems like he's turned over a new leaf. He's out there being a yucky, kind of goofy, drop the pass and pregame free. Like, okay, that works. At the end of the day, do you have the X's and O's? Do you have the assistants that are going to come in and help you? It's an interesting experiment. It's a very interesting experiment on what Dion's going to be. But, like, would he avoid them going to the Giants? Would he say, nope, Shador's not going there?
Yes, he would.
See, but I think I come back to he'd be in New York. There's another side of all that, too. And,
well, I'm sure if a franchise offered him that we're going to make you our next head coach if we draft your son, he'll let him go anywhere.
Probably. And you also wonder, you'll have the head coach situation figured out well before the draft. Right. They're either going to say, nope, Dable's coming back, or we are going to hire a new head coach. You know? Man, can you imagine the league getting there on tampering? And if they hire Dion and then they're getting all this info and all this stuff going on?
If you're Shador, do you really want to go play for your dad in the NFL?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Like, eventually you probably would want to step out of the shadows, so to speak. But the only problem is your dad is prime time. Like, you're never going to step out of that shadow. Your dad is one of the best to ever do it. Like, but I think I'd welcome that if it worked.
Hell no.
If it worked, you know? That's the biggest thing. Do you really believe your dad is that good of a head coach? Has he had that monumental turnaround at Colorado's good.
That's way different.
They got a chance. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you look at Dion? Okay. I'm not trying to rip Deion Sanders, okay? I ripped him from some things last year that I didn't like about him, but I really don't have anything for or against the guy. Is that turnaround in Colorado hype or substance? And what you'd be saying is substance is like, oh, they have these big games. Have they really won a marquee, huge game? Or is the hype what got a lot of transfers
that's my
and
thing.
a lot of guys to come in there, and they're just beating them because they're getting star recruits that they've never gotten before? I think
exactly.
It's that.
Because even if it is substance, that's not translating in the NFL.
Absolutely not.
You had an era of a very unique era of NIL fully spreading its plants across the college football landscape. You were able to get Travis Hunter, you were able to get all these recruits, all your friends, buddies. That's not the NFL. You can't just enter a transfer portal. Free agents aren't coming to this city because Deion's their head coach, right? These are kids trying to get their name, their brands out in college. That's way different.
No, and that's exactly why I'd be a little concerned kind of coming up if it was a Deion Shador thing. All right, let's continue on. Again, mock draft from SI. Number 1, Jacksonville goes Travis Hunter. Shador Sanders goes 2 to the Giants. Number 3, Tennessee.
Tennessee. I mean, they're going to go quarterback too, right? I mean,
the write-up that I was reading this morning, because I wanted to get to the mailbag.
just tell me that. Do they go quarterback or no?
They do not go quarterback.
Okay. Do they go receiver?
They go offensive line.
Oh.
Will Campbell,
Okay.
LSU, who's probably going to be the first offensive tackle taken. Now, that is off of, and we'll get to Graziano and Fowler's mailbag going into week 11, because they talked about Sam Darnold's free agency. And we'll get to that in a second, but they talk about the Titans. They go, if Will Levis, who's got 8 games left, could be the option, but they actually like the Titans to get Sam Darnold. But the thing is, that'd be a big swing to go back to Minnesota. So I think this is under the guise that they go get a quarterback elsewhere. Because if not, you're right. I think they're going 100% quarterback. They'll probably go Cam Ward. But in this one from SI, they go with Will Campbell, the offensive line. They're right. Tennessee has a significant dilemma at quarterback. Mason Rudolph, Will Levis. The Titans could draft a new signal call here, but perhaps they lean the veteran route after their apparent whiff on Levis. No matter who's under center, Campbell offers immediate help to a shaky offensive line. He's not allowed a sack in 2 years. Will Campbell has for LSU. So that helps us. And we get to number 4. The Cleveland Browns select
Cam Ward.
Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami. Team needs quarterback, offensive line, and wide receiver. The write-up. With or without Deshaun Watson, Cleveland's offense has struggled. Second worst in the league on yards per game, and Watson's future with the Browns appears firmly up in the air. Ward, who started his career at Incarnate Word before going to Washington State and ultimately Miami, leads college football in passing yards and touchdowns, hitting on nearly 67% of his passes. He's accurate, strong-armed, who utilizes a variety of arm angles and exciting upside. Yes. Yes. Now, we just got done talking with Jack about Kirk Cousins, the other options. I'm in on Cam Ward. All right. And it's not to say if Shador fell or if the Browns made some move to go up, fine, I'll trust their evaluation.
Do we really though?
Yeah, I think I don't have a choice. I don't think I have a choice.
That's true.
I'm all in on Cam Ward, man. I like a lot of what I see with him, man. And I don't want to get too nitpicky on some things. I just like his arm action. I like how he releases the football. I like where he puts it on guys.
Pause.
Yep. It's arm action. It's arm action. I just like it. I like it a lot. Now, if he's going to be there at 4, that is, again, us staying there. Because on this, we just have the tiebreaker over the Raiders. So here's the crazy thing. Giants, again, all these teams have 2 losses. Jacksonville's 2-8. Giants are 2-8. Tennessee 2-7. We're 2-7. Vegas 2-7. Patriots 3-7. Saints 3-7. Jets 3-7. Panthers 3-7. Miami is 10-3-6. So look at it this way. All the top 10 picks here, and then Dallas is at 11 with 3 wins. So you got 11 teams with 3 or fewer wins. Then I look more maybe at the loss column, where we still, obviously we're coming off our bye. Some of these other teams still have to get their bye. It's going to be tough. Where you could, week to week, we could be up to 2, we could slide back to 8. And I'm not in this to try to tank this out, okay? Because the other thing that I want to believe in is if they think Cam Ward or Shador or whoever is really it, then they make that move to go up and get them. Now, that's sacrificing future picks. We just got our pick back. You don't want to give up more, but I just have to have the belief that if they think that guy's worth it, they're going to go get him, come hell or high water. All right, let's play this out the rest of them real quick. Raiders at 5, Jalen Milroe out of Alabama. Patriots at 6, go McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona. 7, Abdul Carter out of Penn State, the pass rusher. Jets go Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan at 8. Carolina goes James Pierce, edge out of Tennessee. Dolphins go Mason Graham.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to fall to 10, but that's where they take him. Let me see Ohio State.
Where's my boy Ashton Genty?
He goes, it's funny, I just clicked on him. He goes 11 to the Cowboys. 11 to the Cowboys.
That makes sense.
It kind of makes sense. They really would need that. Only Ohio State guys here. Stand by. Emeka Ibuka. Oh, no. 27 to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And then JTT goes 32 to the Chiefs. Keeping the red, man. It works out for them. I'd love Cam Ward. I'd love if we stayed there. I'd love if we got him. We'll see how it goes. First mock draft, first of many that we'll get to here on the show. All right, let's break. Hour 2 coming upon us. Cavs! I want to get this parlay cooking. Can I just do $1? A 13-leg, $1 parlay on the 13th for the Cavs' 13th win. In?
Good luck.
You're going to help me build it. What do you mean good luck? You're a part of this.
Doesn't mean I'm going to bet it.
I'll give you a slice if we get it. All right. I'll give you a slice. All right. So start thinking about that. Plenty of Cavs coming up in hour 2. We'll get to the grid, timeout, morning update. We got it all. Fontana Show, driven by Fairway Ford. We're on Twitter X, Instagram, Twitch. Back right after this.
The Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
I would like to see the Guardians re-sign Shane Bieber. I think he'd give them a franchise-friendly contract because his market value has diminished so much following the surgery. He's not going to be able to demand the kind of money on the free agent market that he would have before the injury. So I'd like to see us keep him, even if he's not ready to start the regular season. Be a couple of months in. I'd like to see us keep Matthew Boyd. Veteran presence. Did a fabulous job for us. Great pickup by Antonetti and Chernoff.
All right, welcome on back. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Follow us on Twitter X at Matt Fontana Show. I'm at Matt Fontana 83. Ryan is at Ryan Tyler 33. Instagram, Big Play. YouTube, Big Play. Twitch, Matt Fontana Show. And did you see this morning from Dave? We have over 1,000 downloads now for the new.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, you did? I just found that information out. So now you're withholding information from it.
Yes.
Big Play app, baby, right there. Apple, iOS, new episodes this week. Hanford, Big Play tailgate. Enter the Jungle, Beat Cart, Full Court Cleveland, Return, Big Play, bonus time. It's all right there. The Jameis Winston food tours launching up right there. There's your Swenson's driving. Download the app today. All of our content there. We appreciate your support as always. All right, Ryan's got the stories. I have one that I want to add. I don't know if you've seen this one.
Okay.
Do you see the new thing that the FanDuel Sports Network's going to start offering?
No.
All right, we'll get to that at the end. Ryan's got stories. Morning update. Take a look.
All right, breaking news. The Cavs are good at basketball.
Yeah!
They play in Philadelphia tonight, taking on the lowly 2-8 Philadelphia 76ers.
Cooking this parlay.
Cavs open up as a
Cooking.
9.5 point favorite as they look to win lucky number 13 in a row. Jared Allen is a game time decision, as well as Sam Money Merrill. Feels like everybody's a game time decision for the 76ers, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming they're going to keep trend of Embiid not, he's not going to play. I don't think Paul George is going to play. All right, let's go. It's just starting. I don't want to do all of it right now. We're doing a 13-leg parlay, okay? Do you want to start this really small, all right? Like Donovan Mitchell, see, damn it. They don't have any of the players up because they don't know who's playing. All I have is Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Jared Allen. And I don't want to put Jared Allen in anything because I don't know if he's going to play. Like, to get to 13, I need Karis LeVert, okay? I need a 3 from Dean Wade. Should I check another book? Let me do that. I'm at Bet365. That's where I'm at. You want to check FanDuel? What do you bet on? Mostly.
FanDuel. Yeah.
I got money in my FanDuel account still. I just want to see if I can do, I need more players here. All right, NBA. Okay, here we go. Player points. See, same thing. They only got the 4. Damn.
I have to wait till later.
I know, so we're going to have to build it out while we're sitting. Should I start it? You want to start it right now?
My picks. Yeah, those are pretty nasty.
All right, we need 13. Let's start. All right, I'm just going to take again, it's going to be a big parlay. Donovan 15, right?
Okay. Yep.
They're not going to let us add 3s to that, though. I can't take him like plus 3s, 2 3s or whatever. They won't let us do that. So what do you want to do, Garland?
See,
here's the thing. I think we need to pick.
Well, you can do Garland 3s if you don't do his points.
That's what I'm saying. Do you like him for 2 3s tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
DG, 2 3s. What do you want to do with Mobley? Our best bet on that would be go double-double. If Allen's not going to play, he's going to have to get some boards.
True.
Okay? But again, we could do... we should take Darius Garland assists.
Okay.
You like DG...
5 assists.
What, 5 assists, okay. Mobley, 3? No, okay. Double-double?
I like that more than
Okay. What is there anything else? We could do, and again, if we got to get to 13, we'd probably be better off doing points and then rebounds separate for him.
Yeah. True.
You want to do that?
Sure.
So Mobley, 10 points. You like 10 boards?
Do 8.
8. Okay. So
And then you could you probably do Karis 10 points.
if they give me Karis. They should.
Yeah.
Okay, so Karis, 10. Okay. Cavs minus 4.5. Alt. Cavs money.
Just money line.
Cavs money line.
You don't want to lose on the spread.
Okay. So that now gets us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're halfway.
Right.
We're halfway.
All right.
Now we could take some 76ers tonight as well. Again, will they let us do over-unders? Will they let us do individual quarters? See, I wish I could do this right now. I can't. Let me just try this, okay? Player points. All right, Donovan, 15. Darius to hit 2 or more 3s. Okay. Mobley, 10 points. Okay. Mobley rebounds. Oh, not Jared Allen. Evan Mobley. Again, I'll get Karis. money line. That all is working. We can do first basket, sink the whole thing as soon as it starts. Yeah, we're going to have to just wait for some more players to come in. Like that. Okay, let me do this. Well, let's go Darius. Oh, we said 2 threes. Let me see if I can add him 10-plus points. Yeah, they'll let me do it. They'll let me do it even with the threes. So maybe that's what we'll do. All right. That's maybe what we'll do. All right. We got a good solid start. We'll finish that out the rest of the show. But I'm going to do a 13. Jump on with us. 13-leg parlay. Cavs going for their 13th win on the 13th. It's bound to hit. That's how that goes. Really excited for tonight. Again, I don't think Philly's going to have much for it. Cavs should be able to smoke it on out. Go one and gold.
Alrighty, well, yesterday we got our first look at the first set of games for the NBA Cup in its second year in the league. Pistons beat the Heat. Magic beat the Hornets. Knicks beat the Sixers. Bucks beat the Raptors. Sun beat the Jazz. Trailblazers beat the Timberwolves. Warriors beat the Mavericks, and Clay's homecoming Steph Curry still really good at basketball, and I saved the best for last, Matt. The Atlanta Hawks beat the Boston Celtics 117-116, extending Cleveland's #1 seed lead.
Then, a couple things off of that. Eric Spoelstra.
Yes.
Goof. You know, I feel bad because
Very rare goof.
You know, very rare. And he said, I'm 17 years and I shoot. For those that don't know, they were in overtime. He pulled to Chris Webber and called a timeout that he didn't have. That's a technical. They go to the free throw line and win the game. Then, off the Celtics thing, the betting favorite for the NBA isn't the Emirates Cup or whatever it is. I don't know. The NBA Cup.
Arab Emirates.
And that's it. Emirates. That's it. Thank you. The favorite to win the MVP for that was Jason Tatum. Do you know who was third on that list? Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. Maybe jump on that. Because I also wonder if the Celtics are a little like, yeah, I'm not saying that they were trying to lose a game last night, but I don't think they really care about the NBA Cup. I think the Cavs do. And I think they're trying to prove some points here. Donovan yesterday, I'm sure it's shifted, was plus 1,200 to win NBA Cup MVP. Kind of like it. Yeah, I mean, the courts, they're better. Have you seen the basketball that they're using?
No.
It's got like a little bracket on it. It's a different type of basketball. I thought about it. I was joking with somebody yesterday. I go, you know what I want to see them do? Just for the NBA Cup? Go play with the rubber basketballs that you get from Cedar Point. Wouldn't that be fun to see out there? Because remember when they did the synthetic basketball and it was there for about a half a season and the players hated it? And they're like, nope, go back to the leather basketball. I want to see those guys go old school because we were all there. We were all in there in the double rims out there at a park shooting rubber basketballs. Bring it on back. I want to see if Kyrie can still handle the rubber one. Let's see if Steph shoot basketball that you go get at Cedar Point. Game's rigged for you.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah, but I just like to see. I saw it with basketball. Courts are all right. I think the Cavs court's really cool. I think that one's pretty cool. But does the NBA Cup do anything for you as a casual fan?
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's all right. I think it's. I really think it is genius that they do the other courts so you instantly watch the game and you go, oh, this is an NBA Cup.
Right.
I think they should. It's hard to say to do it longer because it started last night. It doesn't end until like the middle of December.
Yes.
But I'm wondering if it was like more of like a season long thing. But here's what I was thinking. What if you had the NBA Cup coincide with the All-Star game? Because don't nobody want to watch the All-Star game anymore? And somehow you had that as your weekend thing. Now, the thing is, you want to watch Giannis and the Bucks won't be there. You want to watch Embiid and whatever. But, like, I was thinking about that. It'd be nice if it was longer and then, like, the big culmination, the championship was somewhere on the All-Star game. I'm sure they thought a lot about it. But, yeah, I think it's all right. It's exciting, and the Cavs kicked that off on Friday.
Alrighty, well, the second week of the college football playoff rankings were released. Oregon remains #1, Ohio State #2, Texas back in the top 4 at #3, Penn State at 4.
Stay there.
Rounding out the top 10, Indiana at #5, BYU 6, Tennessee 7, Notre Dame 8, Miami falls to 9 after their loss to Georgia Tech. Alabama 10, and also Ole Miss jumps Georgia. They're at 11, and Georgia's at 12.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine for how it goes. I was watching the reveal last night. It's so weird to see, like, Boise State makes it, and BYU gets a bye. I mean, that's how it plays out. The ever-evolving interest for me is now the opening round games. Like, there was a time that it was, like, nice and succinct where you're like, man, you could have Notre Dame, Texas. And the thing is, some of those games are name-driven, but they're going to be ass-kickings. Texas would have wiped the floor with Notre Dame, right? Does Ole Miss really belong? Ohio State, at this point, seems resigned to their fact that it'll be 5. Now, again, if they beat Oregon. I was talking about my buddy Jordan and I went to go get a beer last night. We were debating this, and I need this set. And I think I'm misremembering it. If Ohio State beats Oregon in the Big Ten championship, they are the Big Ten champion, correct? Even though they both have one loss, the tiebreaker.
I would imagine it had to be the championship.
I think I got screwed up on the tiebreaker. I think the tiebreaker I was looking at meant if they both had one loss and went back to regular season, that's to make it to the Big Ten championship. But again, if we beat Oregon in the Big Ten championship, we're the Big Ten champion.
Yeah, how could you not be?
I don't know. I'm confusing myself, which is not hard to do on that whole thing. So yeah, you beat them, you get that bye. Great. But at this point, I'm resigned that you're facing a Boise State, you're facing the 12 seed. There's the 5 seed. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any complaints about it right now. I think they're ranking them out the right way. But look at that Big Ten freaking power, man. And at that point, just how it lays out, is that not 4 Big Ten teams, 4 SEC teams?
There's 4 Big Ten teams just in the top 5.
Right. And then you have 4 SEC teams. What is it? 2 Big 12, 1 and 1?
6. Texas is 3. Sorry, I pull up. BYU is.
Oh, no, that's right. Texas is in the Big SEC now. I'm such a dumbass. Yeah. They broke it down on the broadcast. There was 4-4. Well, obviously that's 8. You only have 4 left. I think it was 4-4, 2, 1 and 1.
All right, let me do this. So, and this is in the top 12.
Just the 12, yeah.
So this is Big Ten: Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana.
That's it.
The SEC, you have Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia. Right?
So, right? Yeah, 5. And then,
the Big 12 would be BYU.
Boise makes it out of the.
They're 13.
Oh, they are?
And then you have Notre Dame Independent at 8. You have ACC Miami at 9. And
what was I watching last night that had Boise State making it? Huh. All right. Well, yeah, then even better. 9 of your spots going to those 2 with an independent. That's great. But they'll figure it out. And again, don't forget, they'll do what they want to do. They're going to move those rankings the way they want to move them to get the matchups that they want. Because the other thing, you know what they're going to avoid, which is why these rankings are a little sus. They're not going to put Indiana and Penn State in the same game in the opening round. They're going to avoid that. So even if they truly sat there and it came out that I don't know what the numbers would be, but like let's say it was at that point. All right, so 5-12, 6-11, 7-10, 8-9. Let's say that truthfully they were like, well, 7-10 would be Indiana, Penn State. They really come out to those rankings. They'd be like, all right, we're going to bump one of those teams up because we don't want that in the opening round. They will not have any conference games in the opening round. So just remember, too, they can do what they want. They're going to they'll fix those up the way that they want.
Alrighty, well, lastly for the morning update before we get to what you wanted to talk about.
I had an interesting story out of
Matt, we are just 2 days now, I believe, away from Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. And this was quite the quote from Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I saw it.
Tyson promises to bring the old Iron Mike back. He says, quote, I'm bringing the devil himself to the ring.
The devil.
If I heard Mike Tyson say that a couple days before I was going to fight him, I would poop my pants.
I'm not sitting here saying that I would willingly take a punch from Mike Tyson even at 52 years old. Okay? I'm not saying that. There is no fiber of my being, cover the kids' ears, that gives a shit about this. This is a de-evolution of our society. That these guys, they're getting checks for $20 million before they step into the ring. I'm not knocking you if you want to watch it. I know it's on Netflix, all right?
You're saying you won't be watching.
There is no part of me that cares about any of that.
I still think you're going to watch.
What is the point?
Are you going to watch?
I'm sure I'll see the clip on Twitter when it hits, all right? First off, I think that isn't it Logan or Jake Paul? Is it Logan Paul or is it Jake Paul? Which one of them
fighting?
Yeah.
Jake Paul, the younger one.
Are not all of his fights staged? I'm being dead serious. They look like they're staged. They seem like they're staged.
They very well might be staged. It's just the fact of the people that he goes against, like Ben Askren and them.
He's not a boxer.
Right, and those were guys that
Woodley was not
those
a
were
boxer.
guys.
They're MMA
Those
guys.
were guys that were going to get a check because in that night they
Absolutely.
make basically as much as Dana White ever paid them for their whole career.
I'm not knocking it.
So this has the potential to be the first, I guess, if it is real fight.
No, didn't he fight Tommy Fury?
Right.
But didn't he lose that?
No, he won.
I don't see. I don't even
Or
know.
did he lose? I don't know.
I don't even know. But like, I am an MMA fan. I understand combat sports. Frankly, I think boxing is one of the coolest sports. They were doing this 100 years ago, right? I think and I'm sad to see the state of boxing. I think they've hurt themselves in a lot of different ways. This serves no purpose to me. There is no belt. I frankly think it's phony. And I'm not, listen, man, you want to watch it? I know there are people that pay the pay-per-view. And I know I'm in the minority and they're going to make a bunch of money. I'm not upset about it. I really do not care. If it was for a belt, if Jake Paul wants to become a real boxer and go for a belt, that's different. That's why this kind of stuff, the other thing too is, it's like celebrity boxing, which everybody was, Tanya Harding gets in the ring. Okay, you want to watch that? You think it's funny? That's fine. The freaking NFL guys, Le'Veon Bell's out there trying to call people out for a boxing match. We talked about the Mountain, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson. He fought Eddie Hall. So those guys are world's strongest man winners, right? I did watch that fight. Okay, you got me sucked in out. It was ass because they didn't know what the hell they were doing. This is different. Jake Paul is training as a boxer, and Mike Tyson is arguably one of the greatest boxers of all time. He's 52. What is the point?
So you think Jake Paul's going to win?
No. I actually think for his brand and for everything, I think it's better for him if Tyson knocks him the F out.
I think
Right?
that's better for him.
I do. They made their whole thing on, going to the dead forest and being idiots. Like, I think it works better for him if Tyson knocks
That was
him out.
Logan, actually, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I just tell you this, and I ain't knocking if you watch it. I got nothing for it. I've got nothing for that. It doesn't do it. I'd rather watch real fights. I'd rather watch real
That's right. Marshall said he lost to Tommy Fury.
That's what I said. Tommy Fury,
Yeah.
not
Oh.
Tyson.
Oh, he
He's
would've got his
half-
ass kicked.
Oh, I
Could
know.
you imagine?
That's his half brother. Tommy.
Right.
Yeah, he did lose that fight.
Yeah, okay.
He did lose that. That's what I thought. Because Tommy is actually like.
So the one boxer
Real
he
boxer.
actually fought against, he lost.
Is any of this real?
I don't know.
Is any of it real? I don't know.
Likely
I don't
not.
know. They're all cashing a check. It is what it is. All right, quick thing on the Diamonds before we get over to the grid and everything else. Would you be interested? And obviously, we're partnered with the FanDuel Sports Network. I pay for it. I watch the Cavs and the Blue Jackets on there, all that stuff. They knew they are going to pitch and will be bringing an individual game package. So if you don't buy and subscribe, I pay $20 a month. They have a season pass that you can get for like all of football, or not football, all of hockey and basketball season if you want. I just pay the $20 a month. It is what it is. Would you pay for an individual game? So it is coming out, and this week they had a significant hearing in the reorganization plans that sees objections from both leagues like the MLB, and their future is far from assured, talking about Diamond and what they're going to do. So again, FanDuel is coming on the rebranding. They have come around to the idea of single game offerings, something that has been previously seen by the Madison Square Garden network, Knicks, and out-of-market options. But could you imagine if you're in market, you don't pay for it, but you really want to watch the Cavs and the Celtics on Tuesday night? You could pay individually for a game. What would you pay? They have a dollar amount. I want to see if it's in the area of what you would pay
for
a single game.
I mean, I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be much. Meth Stream's free, but
Okay, Schefter.
$3. I mean, I'm not paying more than $5. That's for sure to watch one game.
This starts December
If I can just watch it for
December
free.
5th for the Magic, Pistons, Pacers, Hawks, Heats, Hornets, T-Wolves, Spurs, Bucks, Grizzlies, Clippers, Thunders, and Cavs. In addition to the Hurricanes, Red Wings, Kings, Wild, Predators, Blues, Lightning, and Blue Jackets. All get this feature to pay for one game, $6.99.
Hell no.
$7 for one game.
No, that's
$7 for one game. Too much?
No, that's what
Too much.
used to cost a Chipotle burrito.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Pay $7 for one game. You buy 3 games, you might as well just buy the month.
right.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
It's a new way to get money.
No, I get it. And there might be somebody that goes, yep, just one game or something like that. I really don't understand that. I just thought, I saw this morning, because obviously I'm really interested to see what happens with all this stuff as it goes on. But their new thing is $7 a game.
Maybe if I don't have like access to my laptop or something.
How else would you watch it?
Huh?
What if you didn't have your laptop? How else would you watch it?
On a TV.
Oh, like on your TV?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I thought you meant like on your phone. I'm like, just go to mess streams on your phone. I didn't know what you were getting at if you didn't have
Like, I'm saying, like, let's say I'm out of town at a hotel or something,
Oh.
and I can't cook up meth streams on my laptop.
And just pull your phone out.
I don't want to watch on my phone.
Oh, I watch a lot of stuff on my phone. I'll lay in bed. That's the problem is when the Cavs are playing and then it's like Monday or Sunday Night Football, I got to put my phone up against my iPad so I can watch everything. That would just be it. But yeah, $7 a game individually if you want to get it done. Well, we don't pay
It's a no
anybody.
for me.
I wish we got paid if we did the grid presented by Fairway Forward. Let's go. All right, we had our screw up yesterday. Got through Wordle.
Barely.
Feeling all right for this one. Feeling all right for this one. Go.
Only one team, Cowboys. Dakota. Is that his real name?
He's got a different. I think is it not Rain Dakota Prescott?
Oh, that sounds correct.
I think Dakota is his middle name. I think Rain Dakota Prescott. Why do I know that? I don't know.
So, okay, wait. Is this factual?
What?
Deshaun's real name is Derek?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Deshaun is his middle name. Derek Deshaun Watson.
Okay, Cowboys Lions.
I said it's gonna be easy. Here, let's just open it up here. All right. So Vikings, Sam Darnold doesn't work for any of those other ones.
Vikings, Lions, Hawkinson.
Bills. No, Jordan Poyer didn't play for the Broncos.
That's funny because I thought that too.
Yeah. No.
Well, Bills Broncos is Von Miller.
Vonathan. What's screaming me Broncos Vikings?
Not Brock Osweiler, not Tim Tebow, not Drew Lock, Cordell Patterson, no. Are you thinking a running back or quarterback?
No, it's oh my god, I want to say wide receiver. It's not Randy Moss. I know it's not Randy Moss. Something stinking there. What? All right, we'll have to come back. It's going to be a brain lock for me. There's something there. We'll come back.
Broncos Cowboys.
Okay, Shannon Sharp, no. Philip Lindsay never went to Dallas. No Sean Moreno, I don't think so. Brandon Stokely never played for Dallas. Did Eric Decker? No, he didn't go to Dallas. Obviously, Brandon Marshall doesn't work for either one of those ones. Cross him off.
Yikes. Are we missing any quarterback?
All right, Fitzpatrick doesn't fit for any of these.
Andy Dalton never played in.
No, he doesn't work there. I'm trying to run through Lions quarterbacks. Joey Harrington, I don't think so. Obviously, Goff and Stafford, no.
Did Matt Prater ever kick in Buffalo?
Not enough to rip it. Not enough to rip it. Adrian Peterson. He also would have obviously worked Lions Vikings, but we don't need that. Frank Gore, no. Marshawn Lynch, no.
Marco Murray, no.
Marco Murray, no.
KJ Hamler, I don't think he played in Dallas or Minnesota.
Are you sure not Minnesota? I don't mind that. Don't rip it yet. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
Alfred Morris, did he ever play?
I don't think so. Des Bryant didn't go to either one of those other spots. Jason Witten, no.
Man.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on?
Yeah. Open it up.
Dallas, Detroit. Jamal Williams, I don't think ever played in Dallas. Eric Ebron never played in Dallas. Marvin Jones never played in Dallas.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
DJ Chark never played in Dallas. Kenny Galladay never played in Dallas or Buffalo. Man.
No. Where did Herschel Walker go after the Cowboys?
Oh, no idea. Before my time, young man.
Something's bothering me about Herschel Walker. Something's really bothering me there, and I don't know what it is. All right, you mentioned Kyle Orton. You mentioned Jay Cutler. Osweiler, no. Lions. Jeff Okuda. Don't think so. Ndamukong Suh. Don't think so.
Jeez.
Yeah.
OJ Simpson ever played anywhere else?
No, he only played in Buffalo.
Sammy Watkins, I don't think he ever played. EJ Manuel.
Yeah, I don't think so. Kelvin Benjamin, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He went to Carolina. Jeez.
Emmanuel Sanders, did he ever play in Dallas or Minnesota?
Not enough to rip it. I don't think so.
Demarius Thomas.
No.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Julius Thomas.
I don't think so.
Man. We're struggling.
Yeah. Dude. Brandon Cooks didn't go to either one of those spots. Talking about Dallas.
Oh, man.
Again, I know Fitzpatrick played in Buffalo, but I don't think he ever played for Detroit. I mean, old friend Josh Johnson might work there, Detroit and Buffalo, to be honest with you. I don't hate that one there. Yeah, I really don't want to get into kickers already, but here we are. Dude. There's got to be some that are screaming to us. There's got to be some. Khalif Raymond. Ray McLeod. Do I remember him in Detroit? No. Now we're grasping at straws. Dude. Oh, my God.
I mean, Danny Amendola, did he ever play in Buffalo or Dallas? Cole Beasley, did he play in Detroit?
I don't think so. Like, obviously, yeah, he works Dallas and Buffalo, but he wasn't in Detroit. I don't think Cole Beasley ever went to Denver. I don't think Brandon Stokely, no. John Lynch, no.
Really 4 blank?
I hope not, but Champ Bailey, I don't think he went to either one of those spots. Justin Simmons, didn't he leave there? TJ Ward was in. I mean, just think about Browns players that went there. So again, Dallas, like TJ Ward went there, but I don't remember him going to either one of those other spots. Dude,
This is embarrassing.
it's bad. This is not good. And of course, we screwed it up yesterday by having to use Wordle.
we start thinking about kickers?
I mean, again, but I don't feel anything out of Prater. Like, he works Lions and Broncos, but don't need that. Greg Joseph, I know, is kicked for the Lions. I don't know. Again, I know for the Vikings, too, but don't need that. Man.
Can we just rip it, Josh Johnson?
I mean, that, yeah, right there is probably
For this
where
one?
Yeah, that's where I would do it.
I just hope there's no super obvious ones we're missing.
There is. I don't know what else.
Should I
to
rip
tell
it for Buffalo?
I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
We just give up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Wow.
So this might be our worst grid of all time.
No, we had. Here's the thing. It's worse when we miss an obvious one. This one's bad just because we had nothing.
DeMarcus Ware.
Oh my God!
That's bad.
Damn it!
That's bad. John Kitna for Lions Broncos.
That one, okay.
Reggie Bush for Lions Bills. I didn't know he
don't
played for
remember
the
that.
Bills.
Adam Thielen or
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum. Wow. Case Keenum. DeMarcus Ware.
Wow. I don't even want to check the comments. Nobody even said anything.
God. Yet. Good God. Oh, don't worry. I got tweets.
Do you?
Fudge. That was pretty bad. That was bad. Well, I got time up to make you feel better.
Yeah,
Want to do that? Time up. Write that down. 2024, worst ever for us. Quick Browns notes. They have signed a corner off the Commanders practice squad.
Did see that.
Chigozie Anuzium. Bad news on Denzel Ward? I don't know. And yes, the city put out another statement on the plan and all that kind of stuff. We'll get to that in a second. Let's run through time off. We'll get to our cast parlay for tonight. And of course, we got to get to the bracket as well. So we start short time off, thankfully. 2 years ago today, Browns fought in Miami 39-17. Tua Tagovailoa at the time was the MVP favorite. He threw 3 touchdowns in that game. Browns lose to Miami. Miami put up 24 straight points in that game. This day, 2012, Black Ops 2 was released. I think they said technically it was yesterday in that time, but Black Ops 2, greatest COD of all time, right? Probably. It gets that run.
Greatest Black Ops of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know about.
What do you think is the best COD of all time?
So I know a lot of people would say Modern Warfare 2.
Right.
To me, my favorite of all time is Modern Warfare 3.
Okay. Black Ops is the best of the series, though. Like, I will take in totality Black Ops. I think Black Ops 2 is right up there. All right, we go all the way back to 1875. Harvard and Yale play the first football game in uniforms. Could you imagine the guys that show up in those, like, weird fashion statement things? Like, you got to go out and play in what you're dressed in. I think that'd be an interesting little change there for the NFL. This day, 1856, the bell of Big Ben chimes for the first time over there in London. I just think of Ron Swanson who goes, Big Ben, try the Sears Tower, friend. This day, 1789, Ben Franklin pens a letter with the famous statement, in this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. That's
Very
it.
true.
It's very true. Very happy birthday goes out to Vinny Testaverde. He might have worked in one of those. I don't know. As Drupal Cabrera, Meta World Peace, Nick Harris, Brown Center, Jimmy Kimmel, Whoopi Goldberg, and Gerard Butler, all celebrating birthdays. You probably think of 300. Law-Abiding Citizen is a great movie from Gerard Butler, celebrating his birthday. All right, movies and TV. I have one musical one. Eminem released Lose Yourself this day, 2002.
Good song.
This day, 1993. This is a film in a long-standing series of films. They've made like over 20 of these movies, okay? This was the 17th in order of this film series. And it also ended up becoming one of the best video games of the 90s. So the movie was released this day, 1990.
The 17th installment of this movie series came out in 1993.
1995.
1995.
1995.
What? How do you have 16 movies of something before 1995?
A lot of different actors. But it's always been this central figure.
James Bond?
That is correct.
Oh, nice. So I have to guess which one in 1995.
And again, it spawned 2 years later one of the most popular video games of the 90s.
GoldenEye?
That is correct!
Let's go.
That is correct! GoldenEye.
Okay.
Pierce Brosnan. I think that was his first one, right? GoldenEye was released after a 6-year hiatus in the series caused by legal disputes, during which Timothy Dalton's role and contract for James Bond had expired, and he decided to leave. Enter Pierce Brosnan. I don't watch them, so I don't really have an opinion on who's the best or worst Bond. I think Connery. I think Roger Moore, probably.
Some Daniel Craig.
He's fine, but isn't he done? Why have they not cast Idris Elba yet? Doesn't he seem perfect for that?
That'd be sick. Your first black James Bond.
Everybody wants Pattinson to do it. I don't want him screwing anything up with the Batman.
No.
Let him do that.
He's got too much on his plate.
He's got too much on his plate. I don't
Idris
need
Elba would be sick.
that. I would say Idris Elba or
He's
Henry Cavill.
badass. I would vote Idris Elba.
I would too. He'd be perfect.
I love him.
Perfect. And again, I don't watch James Bond anymore.
He's
but
such a good actor.
yeah, there it is. George Lazenby, all that. All right, final one. We go all the way back to this day, 1940. This is obviously a animated. Well, I say obviously because they have live action there, but this was an animated Disney film. It's a musical anthology film. It consists of 8 animated segments set to pieces of classical music.
What?
I don't know how else to really give it away.
Fantasia?
That is correct!
Wow!
Yes!
Wow! I
Yes!
pulled that out of my rear end.
Nice!
Wow.
Fantasia is correct. Honestly, my next clip was gonna be, it was a line from Big Daddy. Remember when Steve Buscemi's character, he's sitting there and he's like, I used to watch Fantasia a lot.
I haven't
One day
seen that
it just
movie.
clicked. What?
Never seen Big Daddy.
Never seen Big Daddy?
Nope.
Solid. But nice.
Nope.
Fantasia is correct. Let's go. That will not bail us out from the grid, but unfortunately, that's where we're at. All right, you want to get to the bracket, then we'll get our Cavs parlay? Oh, no. Real quick on this Browns thing. Okay. So this just got picked up from Pro Football Talk, but I did see it this morning as well. God bless it. Here it is. Okay. Obviously, the Browns want to go to Brook Park, and the city opposes that. This is from KYC this morning. A new report commissioned by the city cautions that it will lose at least $30 million per year in economic output and $11 million in annual tax revenue if the Browns take the stadium away from downtown Cleveland. $14 million relates to economic compensation covering roughly 360 jobs. It's the latest, and this is from Florio, the latest ongoing political dance between the Browns and the city of Cleveland. Cleveland wants them downtown. Browns want to go to Brook Park. It is possible, from Florio, the Browns are playing up the Brook Park project as a way to squeeze Cleveland to give them the best financial deal for a new or renovated downtown venue. This report is another piece of the predictable puzzle. It was prepared by a solutions company, the law firm hired by the city to advance its interest. City wants them to stay put, so the lawyers found a consulting firm that would gladly accept payment in exchange for a report that says what the city needs it to say. They could have given me that money. And I could have told you the city of Cleveland will lose money by the Browns going to Brook Park. They needed to commission a report for that. Now, this also comes off of, did you see yesterday, the city put out a plan for the redevelopment and the money impacted over there at the stadium. It's all dog and pony show. It's all it's going to be until you actually need to put shovels in the ground and get something figured out. I do want to listen. I want them to stay downtown. That is well said. But I'm also one. If they want to go, go. Ryan, I feel like I'm back leaning towards the door is open that they stay in downtown Cleveland. Isn't this crazy? Is this not crazy? And there's billions of dollars at play at this. I understand that. The one thing that I continue to be hooked up on, the Haslams can't pay for this themselves. They need state and local funds. They ain't getting that in Brook Park. I'm back to thinking there's a way they stay downtown. I don't know. And all they're going to do is like this and that, and bitching and moaning, and this and that, and this. And this. I do know this, that they're already starting to accept bids on jobs out there in Brook Park. So they're moving forward. I keep coming back to my understanding. I didn't mean to throw my pen. I need that for our parlay. They can't pay for it themselves. They literally cannot. So what are they going to do? Where are you going to get that money? I don't know. Latest song and dance, but that's where we're at. I just thought it was interesting as we bring it up this morning. All right, bracket, best Leo DiCaprio movie. What do we got?
Yeah, you're going to...
I'm going to be pissed. I know him. I saw it.
Oh, you did see it?
Yeah.
Well, I was a little upset. Not upset, but The Inception did beat out The Revenant in Group 1. That's understandable.
It's fine.
Wolf of Wall Street destroyed Shutter Island. Shutter Island was third.
I know. I don't understand it. I guess I do. Wolf of Wall Street's a great movie.
But I don't think. But like, way more people, probably twice the amount of people, have seen Wolf of Wall Street than they've seen Shutter Island.
Yeah, smoked it there. But
Andrew Latis, isn't that his name in it?
Well, it's the anagram,
right? For
Teddy was the. Hang on. Teddy Daniels was his doctor. That was Mark Ruffalo, right?
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it.
Okay,
I don't remember.
Hang on. I'm pulling it up here real quick. It's just so good. So again, no. Teddy Daniels is Leo DiCaprio. And it's an anagram of Andrew Latis. So his real name is Latis. His real name is Andrew Latis.
Yeah.
And he was the one that shot Michelle Williams, his wife, because she was manic depressed when she killed the kids. Spoiler alert. He's Teddy Daniels. Chuck. That's it. He's revealed to be Dr. Lester Sheehan, who has been his psychiatrist and been along this whole time. It's like you never watch the movie again the same.
Yeah.
But then when you rewatch it, and when he's in the cell, and the prisoner is trying to like tell him, like, what do you mean? Like, your latest, what do you mean? And he goes, no, that guy's in there because you beat the living hell out of him because he called you Andrew Latis. And he goes, the migraines?
Such a good movie.
You're off your meds. He goes, that's why your migraines are hurting, because you've been off your meds. Such a good movie. I get it. Okay, Wolf of Wall Street, fine. Groups 3 and 4 for tonight, please.
Yes, Group 3, we got The Departed, Django Unchained, The Aviator, Once Upon a Time. Group 4, Titanic, Gangs of New York, Blood Diamond, Great Gatsby.
I'm going to tell you this. If Gangs of New York loses in Group 4...
it's definitely going to. People are going to vote Titanic.
They will not.
Yes, they will.
They will not.
Mark my words.
Then they've never seen Gangs of New York, and that's a shame on them. They shouldn't get a vote. Gangs of New York will advance. That's just how that goes. I don't know any other way you vote that.
All right, man.
Other than Gangs of New York.
All right,
that movie is a dime. That movie is so good. It's hard because like Leo gets out acted in that because Daniel Day-Lewis' Bill the Butcher is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Gangs of New York wins that hands down. Just like the Cavs. They're going to win tonight. No question about it. I need more legs to our parlay, Ryan. Here we go. Again, we don't have anything out for other players and other players of the 76ers. Here's what we have. Donovan, 15. DG to hit 2 threes. DG, 5 assists. Mobley, 10 points. Mobley, 8 boards. Karras, 10 points. Cavs, money line. What else? If we can get it.
How about 5 points for Ty Jerome?
Ty Jerome. Again, I hope we get it. Let's do this. I'm just going to write down our 13 leg and hopefully we can place it later.
Okay.
Will they let us do the over-under?
A George Niang 3.
Oh, George Niang 3. Okay, I like that. Niang 3. You want to take an alt over-under? The over-under is 218.
Anything with a Coro?
I don't know if we'll get that.
What do you mean?
They might not have a Coro as a player. They don't put all the players in this, which sucks.
Is he not going to start tonight?
I think so. Him or Dean Wade. I thought about Dean Wade 3. If they give it to us. Wade 3. How about over an alt? Over 200?
Yeah, I mean, that should definitely hit.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Charles says to do 3 threes for Darius. He says 2 is weak.
Well, we're doing a giant parlay. It'll work out. All right, I'll do 3. I don't care.
No, 2.
All right, 2.
Because if we lose on that, I'd be so sad.
I'll be on Charles. I'm going to be on us. I mean, we also can just take some 76ers stuff, you know. I could do second quarter. Do you think the Cavs get out with first quarter? First quarter winner. Cavs. First quarter spread, 3.5. You think they lead by 4 or more in the first quarter? Let's just do Cavs win the first quarter. Cavs win first. Again, would they let me do that? Nope. Some of your selection. Damn it. All right, we're going to have to screw with this later. All right, take that one out. We're going to have to figure it out later. I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to really sit down and do this. Team props. I think the Cavs score margin race to. I don't know, man. This sucks. We'll have to do it later. We're running out of time. Hey, I'm going to hang out with Drennan for a little bit. So Drennan's tonight. Check it out. Bonus time. We're back tomorrow on Thursday. Come on, Cavs! Come on, Cavs. Gonna make it happen.
Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs.
Gotta make our 13-leg parlay happen. I'm at 7. I'm like a mad scientist right now trying to get this done. We'll figure it out later. Appreciate everybody joining us. We're back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Drop that follow. Twitter, Instagram, Big Play. Download the app. Appreciate our friends at Fairway Ford, fairwayfordohio.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.